Okay, welcome back to the fly bar. This is Scott Null's Convict Killer. It is probably the most effective sheepshead fly I've ever fished. If you have a better one, please let me know because I would love to see it. Let's go ahead and tie one. Alright, we've got Mustad 34007 size 6 and Semperfli Nano Silk 3/0 in black. Put a little thread base down and we're going to secure our eyes. I'll put a full list of materials in the description, but it's, if you've ever tied a Slumpbuster, it's the same thing as a Slumpbuster, but with dumbbell eyes. And you can use bead chain if you like as well. These are Wapsi presentation eyes, size small. Eyes are on. We're going to come back to the bend of the hook. Before we do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and glue these eyes. For the tail and the body, we're using Zonker rabbit strips. Some people will tie this fly with legs. I don't tie it with legs. So if you want legs, go ahead and do that right after we tie this tail in. And actually, we're going to tie the tail with the leather side up. Leather side up, I'm going to trim the tail about that long. So you get a nice, decent sized tail. If you want to tie your legs in, tie them in now. I don't tie it with legs, and I don't think Scott Null ties it with legs, but who knows. I'm actually going to include an article from Scott in the description as well, so you can learn a little bit more about how this fly was developed. Same thing, we're going to tie this leather side up. Secure that, come to just behind the eyes, and we're going to wrap our body on. And while we wrap the body on, we're going to try to make sure we don't trap any fibers underneath, and we're going to do touching wraps. So I don't want to overlap anything and create too much bulk on the body. I just want to wrap it forward until we're just behind the eyes. And once we get just behind the eyes, I'm going to make one big wrap over the top to kind of make a collar. And secure it with our thread. And lastly, we're going to come just in front of the eye, and I'm going to cut a little piece of 40-pound Mason hard mono, and we're going to make a weed guard. Cut your Mason, and I like to crimp one end, just a tiny bit of one end. Flatten that out so you have something the thread can bite on when you tie this in. And that really helps secure that mono on there. And then I'm going to make wraps underneath to stand that weed guard up. What I really like about single post weed guards is you can bend them back into place, because you're generally using heavier mono instead of a two post. I think the two posts are kind of meh, not a big fan. Whip finish, and at this point you can be done. If you want to be done, I'm going to go ahead and put some Loon UV flow on here. And that's it. That's Scott Null's Convict Killer. Like I said, my favorite sheepshead fly. If you have a better or a different recommendation for sheepshead fly, let me know. I'd love to see it. This is basically a bug's lure. If you go read the article that I'll link, he kind of explains how he came up with it. But sweet fly, Also good for redfish and speckled trout and black drum. Got a lot of black drum on this. But little black fly for sheepshead never disappoints. This thing is very lively in the water. Just looks like it's breathing, you know, as opposed to a redfish crack, which has a very similar profile but doesn't move nearly as much in the water. Anyway, thanks for watching, and it's January 2nd, so Happy New Year to everybody. Hope you have a good rest of your holiday break.